it's very rare that I watch a movie trailer and then I go, wait, I have to watch that again.
That's great.
Adam Anders, welcome to Spirit 105.3, and thank you for making a Christmas movie that I believe is going to be instantly loved. This is amazing. I am definitely on board for this journey to Bethlehem. It's singing, it's dancing, it's laughing. It's what Christmas is all about. What inspired you to make this movie?
Wow. It was 17 years ago now. Can you believe that? It makes me sound old. But I was visiting my wife's family in Iowa. It was snowing outside. There was no Christmas movie that I hadn't seen a million times. I'm like, I got to do something about this. And being a music guy, I've done musicals my whole career and produced music and written songs. I was like, why isn't there a musical about the Christmas story? That just seemed like a no-brainer to me at the time. I didn't know it'd take me so long to make it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just got the idea and I couldn't let go of it. And I've been trying to make it ever since.
Okay, it's so interesting to me because as I'm watching, I'm going, this has a little bit of that magical Disney flair. I'm picking up vibes from The Chosen, now one of the most popular TV series of all time. What else am I missing, Adam?
You know what? There's something for the whole family. In this last 17 years, I've done so many amazing projects and worked with the best of the best in Hollywood. And I learned how to make movies and tell the story for the whole family. It really is. And, it has comedy when you need it, so the kids are entertained. The music is great for everyone. There's something for everyone. I did a show called Glee, and it really had that, where there was a song for everyone every week. And this movie has that. It has comedy. It has some suspense. It has a love story at the center of it with Mary and Joseph. That's just awesome. And it's really something the whole family can enjoy together, which is kind of what we need at Christmas, right? We gather the whole family, and what do we put on? Well, how about you put on this movie and actually go to theaters and see it, because it's much better than theater. It looks amazing. It's really fun to see it on the big screen.
I can't wait. So I'm fascinated by the comedy aspect because I'm noticing the donkey, who I believe belongs to Mary, is part of it. So talk about that. How do you bring comedy to the Christmas story?
Yeah, well, this is probably the only story in the Bible where you can do that, right? Because it's a celebration. And that was kind of the vision I had, is why is every biblical retelling of the Nativity where nobody smiles and the sheep are grazing in dirt? There's no color, there's no vibrance. I grew up with a storybook Bible, and I would look at these pages, and it was beautiful, and the images were amazing, and there were animals, and I'd lean into it and want to keep reading. Show me more. And I wanted that to come to life with this movie. So kids would be entertained from the very beginning of the movie. And if you see the movie, the very beginning, I tell you, you can laugh. It's okay. And the wise men are my comic relief that I use throughout the entire film. Anytime my co-writer and I said, we can't be too serious. When it gets too serious, we got to laugh. So the wise men need to show up. And that's what we did. And the donkey probably became the favorite character of everyone. I joke I put him first on the call sheet, Fig the donkey. Fig's amazing, and he's Mary's BFF, and he's not feeling Joseph. That's all I'll say about it.
I love that so much. And the fact that these characters are not just, words in the Bible. They were real people who God chose to fulfill his will on this planet, just like he chooses us. So if you had to pick, Adam, which real life person, do you resonate with the most?
I resonate with Joseph a lot. For sure. And honestly, a lot about Mary is my wife and our relationship. And I think that's what you do as an artist. You take the experiences that God's given you and you put it into your art. And, I wanted to make these characters relatable because that's your entry point to the story. If people find the characters relatable, they want to watch more. They want to stay engaged in the film. And, Mary, I felt like she needed to be strong. My wife's very strong. My mother's strong. And I don't think God would have chosen a weak woman to pull this off, right? This was an incredible task. And at a time where she should have been stoned for this. Wow. But she took this upon herself and sacrificed to do it. And how strong did she have to be? And then Joseph, he should have left her. He should have walked away, but he didn't. He stayed, and he took that stain upon his family, and then he stood by her when everybody else told him to walk away. And I just thought that's the original Romeo and Juliet. It's an amazing love story. And we know they ended up together. There's no spoiler here. But did they end up together for love or for duty? We don't know. So when you have a story that everybody knows how it ends, you have to live in those questions of how did it happen, since we don't know exactly what happened. And, I have Matthew 1 and 2. I have Luke 1 and 2. That's the story. And there's not that many verses, and there's not much detail on how Mary reacted to this and how she felt and how her family and what did her parents say when she told them and all these things. That's where we lived. Yeah. The in-betweens. And it was really fun to make them relatable.
So let's dive into the love story part of this movie. I kind of am getting the vibe that Mary and Joseph were flirting a little bit. Now, I'm just working off the trailer. So tell me about that.
They were. Joseph gets in trouble a little bit in the beginning. I'm not going to lie. And Mary has to set him straight. And I just thought it was a really fun, just the way they meet each other and the way it all comes together. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a very cute, fun meet cute in the movie. Look, they were betrothed to one another, whether they liked it or not. They had their own dreams, and I liked exploring that because we all have these dreams for our lives. And what if somebody else decides for you, you're doing this, whether you like it or not? What does that mean? But what this movie explores is God's plans for you are bigger than your own dreams. I just wanted to be a bass player when I was a kid, and I ended up being a bass player for Stephen Curtis Chapman. That's how I started my career.
Wow.
Yeah, but guess what? God had bigger plans for me. I'm directing and writing feature films. Yeah. I had never gotten that far in my dreams, and that's pretty amazing. I'm a living proof of what this movie talks about.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so Adam, when the popcorn bucket is empty and the family piles into the car, we're all bundled up because it's really cold here right now. What do you want everybody to talk about on the car ride home?
Number one, I would love if the family captures what Christmas is all about. First of all, it's kind of been hijacked by materialism and by Santa and all these things. And I wanted to make a movie that was as magical or more magical than all the Santa movies, the Elf and all these movies that are great. But why don't we have a version of the Nativity, the true story of Christmas, that's that engaging? And I would hope that kids got in the car buzzing and play the soundtrack, Dad, turn on the songs and tell me more. Tell me more about the story, because this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
And I want them to engage. And I've seen many families say that their kids started asking questions. We've done pre-screenings of the movie, and their kids started asking questions they've never asked at all before about faith and about God. And that's really rewarding. But more than anything, I want people to experience joy and some peace in a very dark time this Christmas. And I think this movie is a light in the dark. That's what we wanted it to be. And the story is a light. What it means, what it's about, is a light in the dark.
It couldn't have come at a better time. One of my favorite scriptures that talks about Jesus coming is Isaiah 9:6. The people who walk in darkness will see a great light. For those who live in a land of deep darkness, a light will shine. And it's so beautiful to think that Jesus, this is why he came. And we're so grateful for that. I want to ask you about the musical quality, Adam, because let's face it, when you set words to music, they're more memorable. You start singing them. I think about The Greatest Showman. I could probably sing any one of those songs for you, but I won't. So, talk about turning this into a musical. Like, this could have a huge following.
Music can penetrate in a way that just words don't sometimes, right? A beautiful melody with a great orchestration set to a scene that's emotional already, it just penetrates even further, and it breaks down defenses and it crosses borders and barriers. There's something amazing about music that can move people and unite them and make them open their hearts to hear something. And I think we really strive to do that with this movie. And you'll see they're not all Christmas songs. These are songs about what the people are going through in the movie and their innermost thoughts and feelings and struggles. But then there's some Christmas songs when you eat them. There was no Christmas until Jesus was born, so no spoiler alert there. But yeah, the music is so important. To be able to package this story in song, I think makes it accessible to so many more people. And I didn't make this movie just for Christians at all. I made it for everyone. I want you to bring your neighbors, your friends, whether they're believers or not. They just like music. They don't even have to like musicals. I've heard so many people say, I don't like musicals. I love this movie. So boys love it. I have 2 boys at home. I had to make sure they loved it. So boys and girls love this movie. So it's for the whole family. The music unites the whole family. You can all sit around and listen to great music, so you can definitely go watch a movie with great music in it.
Speaking of music, one half of the amazing band for King and Country, Joel Smallbone, is in this movie, and I'm trying to figure it out from the trailer. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Is he a seeker? Tell us about Joel's role, because we love him.
Yeah, so he's probably my most controversial role, if you will, because it's not a character that's talked about in the Bible, but he is a historical figure. Joel plays Herod's firstborn son, Antipater, who was raised in Rome. And actually, in my research, I found that Antipater was killed by Herod the same year Jesus was born.
Wow.
And I thought, well, that's interesting. Well, why? Well, it says in the history says that it was because he tried to overthrow him because he felt his father was unfit to rule.
Huh.
And I thought, well, that's really cool. What if? What if this was all intertwined?
Yes.
What if this is, and he was, like you said, seeking something more than just his father's throne. He was looking for meaning in life, and I wanted this character to embody the gospel story, and I couldn't think of anybody better than Joel. I needed, I don't just look for believers to cast or to whatever. I'm like, I want the best people for these things. But this was one role where I felt like, what? I need somebody who will take this on. And Joel, he was amazing in the film, and he wasn't supposed to be part of it. I hired his wife, Mariah, first. He was already on set. We were already shooting. It took a long time for me to get Antonio. So we're super late, and I have Antonio Banderas, and I know what his father looks like. Now I can cast the son. What do I do? And then somebody suggested Joel. And I was like, well, he's Australian. I can't have an Australian Antipater. And they go, no, watch his work. I think he can lose the accent. So he had done a movie a few years ago called Priceless. And I watched that over the weekend, and I go, oh, my gosh, he's a great actor, number one. Well, we all know he's good looking, so that's okay. And he can sing his butt off. And honestly, the song that we'd written would fit him like a glove, and I had no idea I was writing it for him when we wrote it. But the big thing is he didn't sound Australian at all. So I called and asked Mariah for permission, first of all, because I work with my wife. We wrote all the music together in this movie, and I know what it's like to start mixing family dynamics. So I'm like, hey, Mariah, what do you think about Joel for Antipater? And she's like, okay, call him. He'd be great. I'm like, great, thank you. So I called Joel. He picks up the phone on FaceTime, and he's like, hey. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm packing. I'm like, what? He's like, I'm coming to Spain to visit my wife. So I go, bring a bigger suitcase.
Oh, my word.
That's how it happened. And he did, and he stayed for the whole show and was incredible.
Wow, if you would have ever told me that I would have said I was happy that Joel would lose his accent for something, I'd have said you were crazy, but I am so happy he lost his accent for this.
Well, he changed it.
Yeah.
So, again, you have to watch the movie.
Amazing.
He changed it, yeah.
I'm going on record. I'm going to say that this is going to become a classic. When we're sitting around, what do you want to watch? Elf, It's a Wonderful Life. How about Journey to Bethlehem? I just believe it, Adam. So thank you for hanging out with us today and sharing your heart behind this epic movie. I can't wait to go see it.
Thank you. And don't wait till Christmas. Go early and often so we can stay in theaters till Christmas. Please bring your friends and everyone to see it.
You got it. Merry Christmas to you and your amazing wife. I'm looking forward to watching your work.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.